Good afternoon, everyone. We're at Casino Theater in Zug at the Crypto Valley Summit, and we have an amazing opportunity to interview Lone Fønss Schrøder, who is the CEO of Concordium blockchain network. Lone, maybe you can give a short introduction about yourself and the Concordium project.
So the Concordium project is very interesting because we're building a blockchain which already will come to the market first quarter next year. And it is a public blockchain which we hope will have a mass scale adoption because we're building identity layer on the blockchain, and we make sure it's meeting all the regulators' demands. So it should be easy to use for large corporations, for example.
Wow, that sounds interesting. So basically, any user using your blockchain will be identified through the KYC procedure?
Yes, you can keep your privacy, but you will be going through a KYC procedure, just like if you were going to open a bank account.
Well, that approach sounds a little bit different from all the currently available blockchain networks on the market, where mostly users are anonymized. What kind of industries do you see using your network?
Yeah, I wouldn't compare the two. I would say ours is for the established world. We need to be able to fit into the financial institutions, large corporations, governments, anybody in the world, but accepting the regulations and the regulatory demands.
What about energy footprint of your chain? How is it different from other solutions on the market? So are you somehow different? What kind of proof of work or proof of stake technology do you use?
Yeah, so ours would be a proof of stake, and it would be very energy light consumption. That's very important. And we're also developing a new type of shading, so we are able to scale the network. And I foresee user cases that we, in an early phase, also can show our both investors and users how they can use it, how they can do easy smart contracts, plug-in smart contracts, but that we also prepare it for the future of supporting Internet of Things, etc.
Incredible. Maybe you can briefly tell us about who initiated the project, who was the initiative group, and how it was started?
So it's very interesting. Lars Seier, who was also co-founder of, actually 27 years ago it was now, of the first internet-based bank. Even before you were talking about fintech, he developed that. So he was really a pioneer. And I was the chairman of that bank for several years, and I think it's very interesting now to follow Lars Seier in his new chapter, to take all the knowledge and understanding he has of bank technology. There are many similarities and mass adaptation, and bring that into the cryptocurrency and blockchain.
So most of the blockchain projects are based on really deeply advanced cryptography. Are you somehow different in that dimension?
No, on cryptography, we are cooperating. We have an institute at Aarhus University who have the best scientists in that field in the world, and we have the Concordium Institute there. So we work very, very closely with scientists, and we also work closely with ETH in Zurich. In particular on tokenomics, for example, and also on identity. So if you look at our website and you understand the different technical features of our blockchain, we have those supported by the science. That's very important for us also to be, say, groundbreaking in working hand in hand in that way.
I see. And what about investors? Can anyone become an investor in your network, or is it limited to qualified investors? What's your approach towards fundraising?
Yes, now first it's qualified and friends and families, but later when we have the launch hopefully early next year, it will be open for anybody. The investors I see are also demanding investors. We want to have investors like large corporations who also would like to link up with blockchain technology in order to understand it, and also in order to test the way we sync up against actual users. We also see IT investors, tech investors as investors, since we will be a forerunner with our technology. We see the VCs and crypto investors who also were investing in the first type of this technology, now moving into a more, say, regulated world. And we see family offices, we see private persons, of course. So a huge variety of investors.
Interesting. Building a blockchain means that you need to have first use cases on the platform. So what's your approach towards creating use cases, and which industries you think you may serve with your network?
Yeah. We'll see. We would like to have use cases which are understandable for people, because I think one of the problem right now in a mass adaptation of blockchain is that people don't really know what it is, what can you use it for. We want to demonstrate that the cost of using the network is going towards zero. So if things are cheaper, the network is cheaper than the alternatives, that it's scalable, then it's even more secure than the technologies you're using today, and also that it's transparent and auditable. I think that is what we have to demonstrate and show that up against user cases which have these metrics and big demands.
Can you also mention some technical figures at this stage? What kind of throughput capacity in transactions per second you designing your network for?
Yeah, I hope we will go towards like 1 million per second, which when we have developed the technology, which is not shading but alternative technology. So that is the long-term vision. I don't think we're able to deliver that like next year. But I think in order to support everything on a public blockchain, this should be our long-term vision.
So what inspired you to join this project?
Yeah, it's because I have worked, I went into the fintech field. I was working both in Maersk, which is a very, say, huge global company, a pioneer in their fields. I worked in the banking field. I developed fintech to try to disrupt the industries I was working in. I think it's very important that you convert yourself with the technology development, and I need to understand blockchain, and I think this was a fantastic opportunity really to go into it, and with my experience and understanding of how the more, say, incumbent world is working, to be demanding also for our technology to bridge that gap between the more disruptive part of the world or anarchist and the established world. I think that is a very, very good combination of backgrounds to be able to deliver something which hopefully will be mass adopted.
I hear a strong drive of internal motivation to build this project. What about developers community, and how can they learn about your protocol? How can they start building applications on top of your layer?
Yeah, so we are developing a developer network, and I'm looking forward to see the first sketches of that. So we will make that both interesting and easy, and establish an entire community who will understand how best to use it.
Okay, thank you very much, Lona. It was incredible.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.